I'm realizing now I haven't done a video on this yet. This is all new. This project's going along pretty fast, unlike most of them. So when I got this engine, I paid $900 for it, and it was everything except for the alternator and starter. And I used the alternator off the other big block I have and the starter off the straight six. So I even used the flywheel and the clutch off the straight six at first. Everybody said, or some people say you can use them, but it is balanced different. It shook a little bit, and I went ahead and got a new clutch anyway because that one didn't last very long, being a used 11 inch. Now it's got a 12-inch clutch in it. But anyway, I got the flywheel, the engine, the radiator, the fan shroud, all the AC stuff, the distributor, wires, pretty much pan to carburetor. The only thing I had to put on was a used alternator and starter. So I did add mechanical gauges. I know that there's a port for the oil in the back. I didn't know that at first, but at the same time, I do like that I can get to it right here in the front, and I just ran this copper line through some high temp material, and then it goes into a plastic line back there. I've seen a lot of copper lines crack, so I like the plastic line because it flexes. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. It's hard up here and it's flexible back there. The Taylor wires also came with the engine. I did put new spark plugs in it. I drove it all the way back from Little Rock, Arkansas with no spark plugs in it, but I had the carburetor covered. And that was, I got home with it and put a camera in the cylinders. They were dry, and put new spark plugs in it and fired right up. But I want to do a video today because we are going to get fuel injection. And fuel injection is coming tomorrow. Just took this for a cruise and did a little tape video. You can see how good it runs the 670. It is a little small for a big block, I know, but we're not going to run this thing 5,000 hardly ever. But when I do rev like first to second, like I did earlier, and it gets pretty slow after 4,500, which is to be expected with peanut port heads and stock big block. The guy told me this might have a cam in it. I don't know. It does have a choppy idle when it's cold, but who knows? It's not a radical cam by any means, but it does seem like it's a little choked when you get over 4,000. So I was going to put the fuel injection on there, and I'm not going to tell you which one I got. You're going to have to wait to see the next video. But I did want to do a video on what I have so far and tell you how good it's been. I've only put about 400 miles on the truck, but it's 12 miles to work, so that's a lot of, to me, it seems like a lot of trips. I will tell you though, I'll just go over some stuff if you decide to put a big block in a C10. You can use the same mounting plates as the straight six or a small block or any of them. There's just different holes and you can move the mounts. I bought new mounts for this and just used the plates that were already in here. The throttles, not throttle, the carburetor spacer was already on here. It has an adapter to a, from a quadrajet to a 4-barrel and then a little spacer. So the guy said it did make it run different. I know a lot of people say don't use a spacer on a stock manifold, but it does make a lot of torque. I haven't gotten an intake yet because I just can't pull the trigger on an RPM air gap. But other than that, everything else was already in here. I did put new shocks on this. It's got new shocks, front and back. And there it is. And then my exhaust. My exhaust originally was just these Purple Hornies, and they bolted right onto the header. Well, this one wouldn't work because the K member or the cross member was in the way, and so I had to put a little pipe that ran over top the cross member and came out right here. And it was so noisy before, with especially that one over there being so close to the ground, that I couldn't hear my stereo. So I had to, not that I've listened to it much anyway, but I wanted a little quiet in the cab. So I welded all this extra pipe on here. So now it goes over the cross member, and then it goes right back there and turns out. And then the same thing with the other side. Now the angle's different because this one goes under the K member, cross member I mean, and you can only go up so high without hitting the parking brake cable. But I still use the 3-bolt mounts. They work fine. I didn't want to go through the trouble of putting V-bands on there. The headers were already on, but this is all mostly TIG welded. So this is just pipe I had laying around, and it made a huge difference. But it is 2.5 in. That pipe over there is 2.5, and then it comes out 3-inch, and it comes out right in front of the axles. So I also put new U-joints in. Put all the U-joints in. They were still stock, originals, and I pulled the SM465, put a new clutch flywheel in. It's a rep set loop clutch, heavy duty towing. Figured that was a nice mediocre. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on a fancy clutch. Okay, I hope you can see everything. This is basically a cold start. I just backed this out. It only ran for like 30 seconds. But it does have electric choke. A couple of pumps. No gas. I'm about 500. Idle clears up after it warms up. I don't know if it has a big cam in it or if it's just choppy natured when it's cold. Off in first again. That's all it takes. And they built a subdivision here. It's fun to make noise. So far, I put the wheels and tires on. They're 15 by 7s in the front and 15 by 8.5s in the back. 275 60 15s in the back and 235 60 15s on the front. I took all the pinstriping off this. I took all the pinstriping off, the lower stripes. I liked the stripes, but they were just all chipped up looking. Now you can see a little more blemish in the body than you could before, but I still haven't painted this. I put the new fender on, put a new step in, and it does not line up. I haven't gotten these bolted together yet. It's just held up by the rail here right now, but it seems like it needs to come out some. I might make a spacer for it because the holes just don't line up. They're way off. You can see even when you pull the thing, yeah, you can see how far off they are there. When you pull it in, it's going to be way up here. So yeah, it's just not lined up, and to be expected with Chinese reproductions. I did get a new seat cover. As you can see, I've let the dog ride with me, but it's corduroy, so it cleans up real easy. I almost got one of the typical covers everybody has, and I just don't like those because everybody has them. You know me. I mean, this isn't factory carpet by any means. So, but I found out that the floorboards are pretty good shape. Just somebody tried to rig up a little cover here, and typical rust right there. This is still pretty solid. It's just that line right down through there. So I need to cut this out sometime, weld a new one in. Like I said, I'm not a body guy, and it's not very much fun, so who knows when that'll get done. But some of the door panels, I mean, big money for show. I'm not a show guy. I'm all about burnouts and horsepower. Or torque in this case. But it does lean to the driver's side a little bit, and that's why I haven't put a drop on it yet, because normally I would just drop it, but the springs lean one side or the other, because one's worn out more than the other. Then I might as well replace the springs, and leaf springs cost a fortune. So to get the exact replacement of these, I called a place not too far from here, and they said they were $385 a side. So, and I was going to get drop springs, but I want to put Caltrax on this. I put Caltrax on it. The axle should be over top of the leaf spring. I know you can get one that goes to the bottom of the axle, but it's heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks. It's not two-wheel drive trucks as far as I know. And if anybody knows where I can get a button-on cover, that'd be great. But some of these buttons are, you can spin them, and they need to come off, but it just seems like a waste, all these buttons going away. So anyway, thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow, and we'll be doing fuel injection. So thanks for watching. Hobbies and Hot Rods. Stay tuned.